Then came the remarkable story of John McNeely and his red-tailed hawk. John McNeely is a naturalist who since childhood has loved the outdoors and everything in it. The element in nature that John loved the most and understood the best was birds. He wanted to fly with them. One special day, John revealed to the hawk his secret. John was himself a flyer, a hang pilot with several years' experience. The training he had given the hawk to follow on the ground was preparation for realizing man's dream since time began. The dream was to fly with the birds. John McNeely was excited. The project he had risked his life for was a rousing success. In recognition of his wondrous feat at Grandfather Mountain, motion pictures of the hawk and John McNeely were included in the entry of the United States and foreign film festivals. The film won first place in world competition in a festival in Italy. Lovers of nature were drawn closer to the sport of hang gliding. The skill and determination of John McNeely had bridged a gap, and through the medium of television, people were given an insight to the driving spirit of hang glider pilots. Millions could understand that the overriding lure of the colorful sport for hang glider pilots generally, not just for John McNeely, to be a part of nature and to fly like the birds. Gliding, and almost every competition had its duration flight time task to see who could remain aloft longest or who could stay in the air for a predetermined number of minutes. When conditions warranted, and there was a fair chance of good lift, either from thermals or from the wind bouncing up in the ridges, the altitude gain task was included in most competitions. Demonstrated by Mike Degtoff at Grandfather Mountain, Mike dropped below the ridge line, then found a thermal and started climbing. Is the situation in which every hang glider pilot would like to be. The altitude gain pylon is on Grandfather Mountain's McRae Peak, 500 feet higher than the launch site, and the judge sighted Mike above eye level as he passed the pylon. Two pilots launching one-on-one simultaneously from side-by-side ramps is very much the fashion these days because it gives both pilots the same flying conditions. The pilot climbing higher and faster has the advantage. Steve Moyes of Australia, current world champion, won 3 Masters of Hang Gliding Championships at Grandfather Mountain. He clinched 1 Masters by maneuvering below the treetops one of his required 360-degree turns. What a beautiful landing. Steve Moyes can surely fly, and his flying buddies want to be sure he could swim. Let's hang glide around the world, down under to Steve Moyes' native Australia and his hometown of Sydney. South of Sydney is Stanwell Park, possibly the best flying site of the world. Steve Moyes won the World Hang Gliding Championship, and his father, Bill Moyes, was the first person to fly the flexible wing Rogallo hang glider. Bill still flies. Steve is the competition pilot who has a lot of input into the design of the Moyes hang gliders. Bill is the manufacturer, engineer, and designer who brings the design ideas into reality. Back in Stanwell Park, the big hang gliding meet is in progress. Named for Lawrence Hargrave, Australian flyer who used the site for research during the Wright brothers era. The Lawrence Hargrave International Hang Gliding Championship has a field of pilots from a dozen nations, with the competition on this occasion dominated by Australia and Great Britain. Kenny Scott, the Australian champion, and Steve Moyes, the world champion, were in strong competition. But Ricky Duncan of Australia became the flyer to beat as the meet progressed.